Welcome back. I am John P. Today we're going to be talking about two recently announced Patek Philippe watches here in Watches and Wonders 2022. This is going to be the Patek Philippe 5226G as well as the 5326G. Now, I want to make sure that before we talk about this and before we get into my thoughts and opinions on these two particular watches that, of course, look very much the same with the exception of the complications on the watch that has the complications, I want to make it very clear that I do admire and enjoy the brand Patek Philippe. I think they've done so many amazing things for centuries at this point, and I think that what they do is generally to the highest standards, and they have so many classic models that others from other manufacturers have strived to achieve the same type of status and modeled their watches after. None of this is really disputed for the most part. Patek Philippe is quintessential high-end luxury watch. But I will say that what they are doing here currently with this new collection release, this younger, more edgy, more, should I say, actually less sophisticated example of the Patek Philippe Calatrava, I think it's not really them. It's not Patek Philippe. Now, before I get into that a little bit further, today on the Wrist Brigade Classique Tiffany dial, you can see more about this on my Instagram, The Real John P. As well, please do not forget to check out delraywatch.com, where we have more classically designed Patek Philippe watches, among many others that you can enjoy, or we buy, sell, and trade as well, so we can help you there. So the Patek Philippe Calatrava watches, the 5226G, as well as the 5326G. Now, the first one is going to be time date. The second one, annual calendar mixed with a travel time. The retail prices of these two watches, if you can buy them, which is unlikely at retail unless you do considerable business with authorized dealers or the Patek Philippe salons, is going to be $39,000 US and $77,000 US. So more information on the watch's specs can be seen at the links below. Now, what I actually want to touch on is what's going on with these two watches. Now, at first glance, I thought that these watches were Longines watches. Now, in no way am I trying to take anything away from Longines. I like a lot of things Longines is doing currently, including the Legend Diver, in addition to the 36mm size they recently came out with. I like Longines. I don't have a problem admitting that. I think they do some very cool things, and I think they're trying very hard. So I'm not taking away from Longines. But Longines also is trying things that have not been what they've been known for, right? Longines is trying to adapt to modern day times. And that's what these watches remind me of. And that's why I'm thinking, look at this picture of a watch here. This looks kind of close with some subtle exceptions, but you get the drift. You get the idea here. Patek Philippe is being edgy, more young, and in their own words, they say this on their website with this model. Now, Patek Philippe is known for the hobnail bezel design, right? They've used it on some of their Calatrava models for the longest time. We have some at Delray Watch, but you know the model. It was a model that, you know, every 80s and 90s banker on Wall Street, for the most part, wanted to have on their wrist. And then after that, no one wanted to have it on the wrist. Now people want to again. That's kind of how things work, right? But instead of putting it on the bezel, now they put the hobnails surrounding the outside of the case, which I think is cool, but it's edgy. Now, looking at the dial, you can see with the texture and the way that the dial on these watches is laid out is just not really classic. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just not Patek Philippe in my head, in the head probably of many others, including Patek Philippe collectors. Now, I speculated recently when Patek Philippe released the Tiffany dial co-signed Tiffany Blue 5711 watch, I speculated that Patek Philippe may start going down that trendy road. Historically, Patek Philippe kind of was setting the trend, right? They were telling people, you need the hobnail bezel. you need this certain design. Everyone else should copy the Calatrava. Everyone else should have an integrated Genta design sports watch. Everyone else should be doing this because we're doing this and we're the best. Now what Patek Philippe is doing is saying, well, we're still the best, but we're going to give you what other people are giving you too, because you like that other thing in addition to the things we excel at and we're known for. And I think this could be a trap, right? I think this could be too young and hip and cool for a brand that doesn't really need to do that because all their watches sell. Now, not all of their Calatravas sell, but a lot of them do, right? And for them to make this big of a jump, I truly feel that they're making a big design jump here, not only by putting the hobnail around the exterior of the case, but also with that kind of stylized, the pattern of the dial and that more new and just kind of junior-y feel to it. Now, I'm really boiling this down in terms of simplicity here, but I want to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. What do you think about this design? Do you think it's young and edgy? I'm sure there are people that will agree and maybe disagree, but in their own words, that's kind of what they're going for. But I think it's a risk. In summation here, I think these are going to be quality watches. They're obviously expensive, held to the same standards that Patek Philippe always strives for in all of their products. But in my opinion, it's just not them. They're drawing from design cues from other brands that already exist now. And that's something that I don't think Patek Philippe should be doing if they want to retain their positioning as being the watch brand that others strive to be. Now, they've done the Tiffany dial, they do this. What will they do next to put them in that kind of a position? And how can they keep kind of the other path running of, hey, everyone follow us, but on these other lines that are a little bit slow movers, no, we're going to follow you, Longines. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Once again, I think the watches are going to be really great. I even like the designs and the styling on the watch, and I would wear them. I would honestly wear this watch. I think it's pretty neat, interesting. I like the aesthetic. I just don't think that it's quintessential Patek Philippe, and it could be a big risk, and we should look out for what Patek Philippe is going to be doing with some of their more slower moving lines. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, comments below. DelReyWatch.com, buy, sell, and trade, as well as my Instagram, The Real John P. Thanks, guys. You've been chatting with John P.